everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have had an amazing day today. I was had the pleasure of watching everybody talk about a little bit about their part in the amazing institute that is Aveda. And wow, I didn't realize how awesome we were. But I am very, very excited that I get to bring it all back to the beginning with you and talk about the Aveda brand. So I will first start off with a little bit of introduction of myself. My name is Paige Clear, and I am working at the Aveda Institute in Austin as the student care manager. I started off my journey here as an Aveda student in Houston. So I've been with Aveda for off and on going about 10 years. So I am very excited to speak with you all about the Aveda brand. One thing that is near and true to our hearts is the Aveda Mission. The Aveda brand was founded in 1978 by Horst Rechelbacher. And Horst Rechelbacher was a very, very famous hairdresser. He did a lot of hair shows and he had a few salons. And he was touring in America and he got really sick, and his mom was a horticulturist, and so she used herbs and natural plants and flowers to bring him back to his full health. And he thought, wow, this is something that the entire industry should know about, the beauty industry, but also the entire world. So intro to Aveda in 1978, and have since expanded on the brand and what we love so much. So I'm going to share my screen, and I just have one clip picture. So everybody can see my screen? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so there are a few things that set us apart from other beauty brands. We call them our Aveda points of difference. So the first, and I feel like the most important, is that we're cruelty-free. We do not test on any animals, and we do not ask anybody to do so on our behalf. So we test all of our products on people, because those are the people that are going to be using our products. We also use naturally derived ingredients in all of our products from plants and non-petroleum minerals or water. And if there is a product that is taking too much from the earth or from the source that we source it from, we'll actually stop making that product and let the earth replenish itself a little bit. We were also we were the first beauty industry brand to have 100% wind power in our manufacturing facilities. So we use 100% wind power through renewable energy credits as well as carbon offsets. So our passion is, of course, caring for the world that we live in. And that also includes the packages that our products are made out of. They are post-consumer recycled packaging, which means we go to recycle facilities and we source all of this plastic and we give it a second and a third life. We also are the only beauty industry to have an in-house aromaologist that will customize all of our aromas that use natural essential oils and different essences from plants and flowers that will scent our products. So we are very, very lucky that we have all of these amazing ingredients and resources that we get to use in our products. If you haven't done any kind of research or inquiry on Aveda.com or anything like that, I would highly recommend you do so, because there's tons and tons of resources that you guys can look at. And honestly, the resources are endless. There is a really good blog that Aveda runs. It's called Living Aveda. And so it talks about all of the different points of difference that we have as a brand, but also how you can contribute to that as a consumer or a student or an employee. So I talked a little bit about the Aveda mission and how it is incredibly special to us. It's so special, in fact, that we have all memorized it. And so I'll go ahead and recite it for you. Our mission at Aveda is to care for the world we live in, from the products we make into the ways in which we give back to society. At Aveda, we strive to set an example for environmental leadership and responsibility, not just in the world of beauty, but around the world. So it touches a little bit on kind of every aspect, not only in the product world and in the beauty world, but also our world as a whole, planet. Um, and so I was talking with you guys and saying how amazing our last speaker was, and she had some really amazing projects that she was working on to help give back to her community. And that's something that you would be able to experience as an Aveda student, but also when you are growing as a stylist or as an esthetician in the network. So there are some things that we do throughout the year to help give back to our communities. The first one would be in the month of April, which is Earth Month. We like to give back to a charity known as Charity Water. And this charity is very special in that 100% of the proceeds that they raise goes directly to the project that they're working on. So they fund and they build water processing plants and water pipelines and all that kind of stuff to third world villages and third world countries that wouldn't otherwise have access to clean water. And so it's really cool. You can go on their website and they have webcams and videos where you can see exactly what they're doing and working on these projects and these pumps. And you get to see the people and the joy that these villages have when they get, clean water for the first time. So another charity that we help raise money for is Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which we focus really in depth with that in October, which is Breast Cancer Month. And we partner with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which helps to fund or get funds for actual research. So this is very special and different than other breast cancer charities in that most charities just bring awareness. The charity that we chose is actually funding research. So we're actually looking for a cure for breast cancer, which is very, very awesome. So of course, there's some things that we do throughout the year that will help raise money for that. That might be a certain proceed of a product revenue goes towards that breast cancer or that Earth Month funding. But there's also different things that we do in the campus, which is really fun. It might be something like a bake sale or a silent auction. We also have fashion shows that we do, and all of the proceeds from ticket sales and donations goes directly towards those charities, which is really awesome. Something else that is also near and dear to our hearts here at Aveda is how passionate all of our stylists in the network are. So we have several different leaders within the network that they're the ambassador of a different kind of category, so to speak. So for instance, there is a global artistic director for hair color. His name is Ian Michael Black. And there's a global artistic director for hair cutting. His name is Ricardo Dennis, as well as styling. His name is Alan Ruiz. The global artistic director for makeup is Janelle Geeson. And then there is also a global artistic director for texture, and her name is Renee. And so all of these wonderful creatives and top professionals in the industry are the ones that help create our curriculum that you guys would get to experience. So we're very blessed that not only we have a really good foundation for our products, but also an amazing foundation for our education. So these global artistic directors, of course, are, funding, or not funding, but being the forerunners for our curriculum, but also we are very blessed that they get to be our guest speakers sometimes as well. Like I said, I'm here in the Austin area, and Alan Ruiz is the global artistic director for styling. So we get to interact with him quite often. Some other global artistic directors are, based out of New York or Minneapolis. So they're all over the place, which we get to experience them, of course, in person, but now virtually when that's an option. There are some other things that make Aveda really special as a brand. So we talked about our packaging is all natural. We talked about our ingredients are natural, but also how awesome our education is. But I want to talk a little bit about what we do as a service provider. So as a service provider, something that sets us apart from other brands and other companies is we are really a touch-based and a feel-good company. So there are certain things that we include into our services that make the guests just feel good. You got to think these guests are coming from the high stress environment that is work or school or kids and husbands and wives. And so the hour to 2 hours that they spend with us is really a time for them to just center themselves and focus on themselves. So we have included things called rituals of renewal that they get to experience in the service that are complimentary add-ons. That might be something like starting the service off with a really nice neck and shoulder massage. Or while your guest is processing with color or chemicals in their hair, let's go ahead and offer them a hand massage while they're waiting. So these sorts of things are an amazing add-on, but they're complimentary. So it adds an intense value to your service. So we talked about our amazing products. We talked about our amazing curriculum and our amazing service. And we talked a little bit about how we give back to the community around us. So I will open it up. Is there anybody that has any questions about Aveda, about the brand? No, no questions? You guys are all super excited about it?
That was really good. Thank you, Paige.
Yeah,
while they're thinking about it, I have questions you guys can post in chat. Just a reminder, this is the last segment of the day. So tomorrow we should have all the recordings up if you missed one of the segments that you'd like to see. There were a couple that were at the same time. So I definitely encourage you to do that. We had some awesome guest speakers, a demo, and then got a great representation of all of our partners, some alums, and guests as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. Do we have any questions for Paige? So Paige, I don't think you did you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been here at the Austin Institute for about almost 5 years. And I've had every role imaginable. I've worked in retail for a little bit. I've been an educator. I was an educator coach, so kind of like team lead. And now I have evolved myself into the student care position, which really hones in on caring for the student, of course. So when you guys have any questions that you might need answered, or if you need any help with finding a job or transitioning from just a different point of your career into another, I'm a great resource for that. So we actually just had a career fair here in Austin. It was a virtual one last week, and it went really well. We were able to invite lots of alumni students, but of course it was built into the curriculum. So all of our current students got to participate as well. We invited all of the salons in the Austin area and got to do a little bit of Q&A with those salons and talk about that, which is really, really helpful when you are especially new to a city, but also new to an industry and you really aren't sure where you want to go, where you want to work. So it's something that we got to, that I got to experience as a student when I was a student in Houston a long time ago. So it's really exciting when you get to, of course, when you get to enroll and you're starting school, but also when you've gotten all these great knowledge and all these great tools under your belt that you just want to go out there and do it. So we definitely
I think Paige is a great testament to, we have a ton of graduates who, make their way, they work at the salon or they work in a spa, they come back to be educators in our campuses. Some of them work in the retail area, some of them come back and do admissions. So all of our schools are really filled with a lot of alumni. So I think that's a testament to the opportunities that are not only in our whole network, as we've heard about today, but also just within our campuses. So Paige, if you had, so when you were looking at schools and you were going to school in Houston, what do you wish that you had known prior to starting school, or something that you feel like would have made you even more successful in school?
Ooh, that's a good question, Alyssa. Well, I'll start off by saying why I chose Aveda. My aunt went to an Aveda salon in Houston, and she was asking her stylist about, my niece is going to cosmetology school. Where should she go? And the stylist immediately said, I didn't go to Aveda, but I would have, because the way that they set up their curriculum and the handbook and their policies sets them up for success when they get in the salon. So immediately for me, I was like, oh, well, that's just kind of an obvious. I'll just go to Aveda. What I didn't realize though, I came straight out of high school, so sure those of you that are in high school or just graduated, you kind of get into this, the senioritis type of feel, and you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I really wish that from day one, I would have taken so many notes and already started to envision what I want to do with starting off in my career and kind of building out that 5 to 10 year plan. I was just kind of living in the moment, and not really living for my future. So when I graduated, it was all kind of like, let me scramble to figure all this stuff out. But you don't even realize all of the resources that you have when you're a student, and you kind of take it for granted. And then when you graduate, you get to hear other people's experiences at a different school or a different industry, and you're like, wow, I had all of that, and it was at my fingertips, and I just didn't take advantage of it. So that would be my biggest tip, is to take advantage of every little thing that you are exposed to. Every educator that you're going to have has different years of experience, and they have different experiences. And so definitely take advantage of all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you said so important about having a goal, thinking about what you want to do. We do have a lot of students who start and say, I just know I would love this. I'm not really sure what I want to do later, but really visualize and think about, where do I see myself, say, a year after I finish school? Mm-hmm. And you might have a longer term goal, like to own a salon, or, something that may be a little further down, but what's that short term goal? So, when you have those tough days, and it's, especially now with everything going on, and you say, oh, I can't do it today. You have that picture, you have that goal that you want to work toward. And then when you have that, like you said, Paige, you don't realize all the resources you have at your fingertips. And then it's like, oh gosh, I wish I would have thought about this back then. So thinking about how can I maximize those resources that I have, in school, based on, where I see myself and what I want to do when I get out of school. So that's a really great point and really good advice. Any other questions out there that you guys have for Paige? Grace said that was really great advice. Thank you, Paige.
Yeah, thanks, Grace.